was a time that the Boko Haram insurgency was Nigeria's biggest security challenge, but those days now seem like distant memories. Banditry and kidnapping have now been added into what is now a dangerous and complex security mix. Nigerian security forces are yet to succeed in ridding the northwest of this menace in the country. This apparent failure has come at a huge cost. Farmers can no longer go to their farms, a situation which has led to an inflation in food prices. Many have lost their lives and property worth millions have been destroyed by murderous gangs. The bandits' conflict in the northwest Nigeria has been described as an ongoing conflict between various gangs and ethnic militias. In Zamfara state alone, there are said to be over 30,000 bandits in 100 camps. This menace, which started in 2011 between herders and farmers, has allowed other criminals and jihadist elements to form various groups in the northern part of Nigeria who terrorize, kidnap, and sometimes maim innocent persons. Bandits in Nigeria ride into towns and villages on motorcycles, loot and kidnap anyone they see. Anyone who resists ends up being killed. In recent times, it has been noted that kidnapping is a very profitable venture in northwest Nigeria, as millions of naira can be gotten from it. A recent report by SBM Intelligence, a Nigerian intelligence platform, says between 2011 and 2020, Nigerians paid at least $80 million as ransom. Unemployment, large-scale poverty, and weak local government have led to desperate Nigerians turning to criminal activities to earn a living. Also, large forested areas have allowed for concealment and the formation of camps deep in the forests, and police and military personnel are unable to reach these forested areas. This led the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, to suggest that forests in the north be bombed to aid the fight against banditry. This drastic action, he believes, will help to wipe out bandits. Kabiru Adamal is a security expert. This is his reaction to Governor El-Rufai's statement.
While I agree with His Excellency, the Governor of Kaduna, the Governor El-Rufai, that the hideout of these bandits, these gunmen, these terrorists, forest, I do not agree with him that we should destroy our biodiversity in order to dominate the forest. We need the biodiversity, especially in this era of climate change. A scorched-earth policy is no longer obtainable in 2022. The world wants more biodiversity, it wants more greenery. So instead of a scorched-earth policy where we level the forest, I think we should have a tactical unit. All in all, the best available figure says these gunmen are not up to 30,000. And I know the military has reduced this number from that 30,000 to even a lesser number. So why don't we have tactical units? Every year we release budgets to the ministries, departments and agencies in security. Almost all of them say they have tactical units. They sent these tactical units to Israel, some to America, some to London and several parts of the world to train. This is when we need them. Those tactical units should be, through intelligence, we should be able to identify all the camps, all the modus operandi of these gunmen, and then tactical units should go in with the right equipment and go and take out the leadership and arrest the ones that they can arrest. But leveling our biodiversity is not an option in this era.
In all of this, there are some who say the government is using a soft hand to treat these criminals. Is that the case?
Yes, more could have been done. However, when we say the government, I think we need to be clear. Most of these issues are localized. I think the peace building and the conflict resolution mechanisms should have been done by the state governments. The forests that I talked about belong to the state governments. They are not. They don't belong to the federal government constitutionally. The only places that belong to the federal government are the reserves. So government can only, as it were, constitute its authority over these parks. This forest, the governors saw it. In fact, in most instances, in certain states, the governors encouraged the habitation of those forests by these persons. Now, that is where I think we dropped the ball. The governors did not introduce peace building. They didn't introduce, conflict resolution mechanisms. In fact, in cases like that of Zamfara, what they did was to create a vigilante that has now made the problem even bigger. Because what the vigilante started doing was to target ethnic profiling. Any Fulani person, especially their women, once they come to the market, they would arrest them, they would kill them, they would rape them. And that angered the Fulani ethnic group. So they also sought to arm themselves, and before you know it, the conflict grew bigger. So I believe, yes, more could have been done in terms of both conflict resolution as well as peace building. And then once it grew as big as it is at the moment, the federal government should have come in, provided a framework for dealing with the conflict. Unfortunately, we haven't seen the federal government doing that, to providing that framework. Now, could it be an issue of lack of capacity, or could it be an issue of unwillingness? I would rather go with that first, not capacity as against unwillingness. The reality is that the number of persons that are dying, by now, we should have made that issue the front burner of everything that we're doing in terms of managing security. That has not been done.
So, what should the government do to end banditry and insecurity?
Do a sociological study, understand the phenomenon, call it what it is. If it's terrorism, call it. If it's criminality, call it. Let's stop these disaggregated terminologies that we're using to describe the issue. After the sociological study, peace building efforts must be brought in. Law enforcement must be strengthened, especially the administration of criminal justice. As an example, the possession of arms, that is covered under the Weapons Act 2019, I think. It's a clear offense. So why are people allowed to bear arms and they are not arrested and punished? So we must strengthen the administration of criminal justice, of course, and then the grievances, socio-economic grievances, that is building conflict within the region. I've talked about them: poverty, unemployment, climate change, all of that. They also need to be addressed. So in a nutshell, it's about improving governance and community as well as family living. Value systems have collapsed in almost all of these locations where banditry is raging. So we must strengthen our value systems. Young people coming up through their families, through schools, through churches and mosques, and even the media, we should promote good values so that young people understand when they do something that is wrong, they already know that what they've done is wrong. Currently, our value system, unfortunately, does not distinguish between bad and good. People commit offenses, all in the name of looking for money. And the worshipping of money in Nigeria is at an unprecedented rate. So we must enhance and improve on that. And government must be conscious in encouraging the promotion of good values.